Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. My name is William. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today we're going to be doing another FSEconomy flight in the Mooney M20R from Carenado. Still kind of trying it out, and we'll be picking up where we left off on the last flight for a short hop today. So stretching the legs a little bit more than the last one, but still a relatively short hop. I hope you all enjoy the flight. If you do, make sure to give the video a like and consider subscribing if you want to see more content as always. Thank you so much. Let's get into the flight. Welcome on board, everybody. We are on the ramp here at Cashmere. It's where we left off on our last flight in the Mooney. Just rented the same aircraft, so we'll be departing out of Cashmere, and we're going to be stretching our legs a little bit more. 160 nautical miles to our destination. We're going off to the west to Forks. We're carrying some medical supplies, just over 70 kilos worth of medical supplies for the flight today. It's going to pay about $1,800. Not so much about the money, but it is a pretty decent payday for such a small plane and what shouldn't be a very long flight. We're going to try and get up to a little bit of higher cruising altitude as well. We've already got 14,500 plugged in. If we get there real quick, we'll go all the way up to 16.5 and kind of see how it does on our flight there. So we'll be using runway 25 for our departure, which is sitting right over there. You see Alpha 25. So we're just got to make a right on the taxiway here and then hold short of the runway. So let's go ahead and get the FSEconomy client up and start our flight. You can see it's still alias to an M20 Bravo, and we are available on, or it is available at Cashmere. So we'll go flight, start flight, and make sure our medical supplies, 72 kilos, are loaded up. I went ahead and put 40 gallons of fuel in the aircraft, so we got 20 gallons on the left and 20 gallons in the right, and that is confirmed. So we should be good to go. The aircraft still does not have a GPS, which if you watch the last flight doesn't really mean much. This still works perfectly. It just means that we can't navigate or tie the autopilot to it, so I can't just put it in nav mode. I've got to, if I want to do something, I've got to kind of tweak it via the heading bug or whatever like that. But it basically works as if it was there. So that's all good. Anyways, let's go ahead and get our taxi lights on. Go ahead and throw our nav lights on as well. Also, let's come over here and we'll put the transponder into standby. All right, so we are ready to taxi. We'll go parking brake release. We'll put the prop to full. For some reason, it's not quite all the way there. And looks like we're clear to taxi. Let's go ahead and get our takeoff flaps out. This is a really short runway. We'll be departing from here today. It was a wild landing, and it looks really cool in this lighting as well on these mountains. Alright, so we'll just come up to the hold short line here, and let's make sure we've got everything kind of figured out the way we want it. So we'll just hold right here. So we're going to use the entire threshold. And you can kind of see what we're going to take off into. We'll take off, do a bit of a right turn, and kind of retrace our steps on our arrival on out of here. So let's go ahead and get the transponder on into altitude mode. We'll come up now and switch out for landing lights, taxi lights off, strobe lights on. We'll do recog lights. Alright, all of that looks good. We can also go ahead and arm a flight director mode, or we can arm the flight director heading mode, which I have set on 265, and let's see, we'll go ahead and arm the altitude selection mode there, and if it will let me, we'll set this for an initial of I think we could probably pull off 1,200 feet a minute. So, and we'll leave that on that because that's most likely what I'm going to want to adjust, if anything. So let's go ahead and take the runway. Before I do, let's 90 this. It looks like it's clear off in front of us. Let's make sure it looks like it's clear on y'all side of the aircraft. Everything looks clear out there as well. What a beautiful area. And let's boogie. We're gonna basically be flying right over Seattle. It's one of the reasons I want to go up above 10,000. It's I know we don't really deal with ATC or anything like that, but that kind of clears us of the Seattle Class Bravo, which has its top at 10,000. So let's go ahead and go full power and release the brakes. Alright, airspeed is alive. There's 40 knots. 50. 60. And there's 70. Rotating. We have a positive rate. Gear is coming up. Positive rate accelerating through 80. Flaps up. Still kind of just pulling these numbers out randomly, but the aircraft flies well off of it, so... To be honest, the aircraft just kind of flies well. You can see we're just going to shoot the gap between this ridgeline over here and the one off to the right. We're going to continue climbing on up. And our initial plan at the moment is to go all the way up to 14.5, and we may go a little bit higher if needed, or if we want to. Alright, so I can already see if we just come left one on the heading bug. If we activated the autopilot right now, it's basically flying us direct to at the moment, but we'll continue to hand fly for a second. It's a beautiful view off the wing there. Gotta remember, we're gonna have to monitor our tanks. Left tank, we've already burned a gallon off of it. We're gonna keep the power in and continue to climb. The highest bit of terrain we're gonna have to clear is basically gonna be right in front of us. If we need to, we can do probably better climbing 360 or something along those lines. And let's just see. I would somehow manage to not click the vertical speed the way I wanted to. Alright, so let's go ahead and engage the autopilot. Let's see if it captures this the way I'm kind of expecting it to. So it's going to take over on heading, and it's got us on 1,400 feet a minute at the moment. So let's go to, no, not 2,500 feet a minute. That is a little excessive. Let's go up to 1,600 feet a minute. Release the pressure off of those rudder pedals, and we'll bring the heading bug left one more, and we'll go ahead and pull out a little bit of mixture. We're through 6,000. I think we're going to clear this terrain in front of us. I don't think we're going to have to 360, but let's go ahead and get our landing lights off. At the moment, we're in the climb, we're doing just about 110 knots indicated. It's showing an hour and 17 to our destination. I expect we'll get that down once we get up to cruise. And once we kind of are up above this terrain for sure, we'll kind of ease off on the climb a little bit and reduce our power settings so I'm not absolutely burning this thing up. Having said that, everything, I mean, we've got our RPM maxed at 2,500, so on and so forth, but oil pressure, EGT, oil temp, the CHT is the one, it's right on the yellow line at the moment. Our indicator is starting to drop a little bit, so we were holding right around 110. We can keep this climb up though, we don't need to slow it down just yet. Get to about 100 knots. And then maybe we want to back it off just a little bit, but I think as we're coming through 8,000, we should be good to kind of make this a little bit more fuel efficient. Let's see. I changed it, but it made no difference. Okay. Interesting. So we'll arm the mode again. Yeah, I'm kind of figuring this out on the fly. I think I was doing it just a little bit wrong, but we'll go ahead and put in for 1,000 feet a minute. Let's come down and pull the mixture back a little bit more, and let's pull our power back just a touch. If we consult the sun visor here, 1400, looks like about 18, or 14,000, I mean 18, somewhere around there for the manifold pressure. So we'll just keep that in mind. Like I said, I'm not taking it super seriously with flying the aircraft exactly the way it should be by the checklist, anything like that. Just kind of getting a grips on the way it flies, the way it handles. It is a ton of fun, and that's really the important thing for me at the moment. I want to get a little bit more comfortable with just seeing how everything works on the inside here. Oh, and that's the other thing. So this aircraft actually has speed brakes, which I should have known. I remember that the Mooney has speed brakes, but I totally forgot about it last flight. We could have used them. So I've got a button set up for that. We might end up using those for our descent in to Forks, and they just pop. They're tiny, but this is a pretty small plane, so it'll be interesting to see how they work. But they just pop up right out of this slot here, on the left and right wing. So we're still climbing up, almost 12,000 feet. Our ground speed is almost up to 130. It brings our time down to 1 hour 7. We're already almost 20 miles into the flight. Once we level off at cruise, we'll go ahead and switch from left tank to right. And we'll just make sure that we try and monitor that to the best of our ability. Alright, so we are just about 300 feet or so till we're at 14.5. I do think we'll go ahead and try out 16.5, but I want to level out here, see if the CHT is been basically in the yellow. I was trying to mess with the mixture or something to see if I could get it to cool off a little bit, but I really just want to see if just getting more airflow through the engine makes a difference. So we're about to be level here at 14.5, and I guess we'll just see what's what. We'll go ahead and pull the power back. We'll do 11 gallons per hour instead of trying to work it off of manifold pressure that needs to be adjusted for temperature and all that jazz. Let's pull it back for 11 gallons an hour, and let's go ahead and switch over to the right tank. We're going to leave the prop on 2500. Let's see about the mixture. So if we can still get it to go up. So lean performance would be, alright, wherever that peak is, it's right around 1420. So if we wanted to go for the most fuel efficient, we'd do like so many degrees under the peak. So you'd let it peak and then continue to pull it out until you were a certain temperature below. But we're going to go for power, so 1420, so let's just bring it down to like 1370 or so. And then we'll add a little bit. Theoretically speaking as well, that means we're running a little bit richer, which from everything I've understood should help the cylinder head temperature. It's something I kind of had a problem with on the last flight as well, so it's probably something I'm just screwing up. Maybe, doubt it has anything to do with that, but that'd be interesting if just throwing on a boost pump or something. Doesn't seem to make a difference, so we won't worry about it too much. We're at 175 knots across the ground. Now it's showing 44 minutes, 129 nautical miles. We got a little bit until we're over the Seattle area. It's a beautiful day, a beautiful flight. We did go ahead and switch over to the right tank, so we'll burn off of this one for a little bit. If we get down to about 15 gallons or so, we'll probably switch back over to the left and just kind of keep flip-flopping like that, as long as I stay on top of it. Let's see, everything else looks like it's okay. Yeah, just hanging out in the warning zone, in the danger zone, as one might say, on the cylinder head temperature, but not a big deal. We'll go ahead and settle into the cruise. We'll take a look once we get a little bit closer to downtown Seattle and see if we can see any of the sights, Space Needle or anything like that. That'd be pretty cool, as we make our way into Forks. Alrighty, we are basically over the Seattle area, it looks like. We have the Sound all the way out there. Really great visibility. I'm trying to look and see if I can see any kind of landmarks. We may be up too high, I'm not entirely sure. I know sometimes I've just had zero luck. Also, the sunlight isn't really helping out the most. We got an airfield out there. It looks like another one. That's probably Seattle. Should be flying like right over the Space Needle somewhere down in this region. Yeah, but whenever I'm too far away, it just kind of looks like a bunch of triangles on the ground, unfortunately. My computer is not the biggest fan of flying over densely populated areas, but we are cruising pretty much right over the Seattle Bravo 14,500. I did go ahead and pull the prop back. That kind of seemed to bring everything here. It's just one of the things I wanted to try. It seemed to bring about everything into line as to where I would kind of expect it to be as far as our temperature gauges. So that is, you know, that makes sense. Don't fly complex aircraft, so I just know, like, we do have this option. It'll show, you know, these are the prop RPMs, and it's saying 2400, 2500, 23, 24, 25, 23, 24, 25, so on and so forth. So to me, it seems like 2500 RPM should be an option, at least all the way up to 14,000, which is where we are, essentially. But it kind of is what it is. I think, in all honesty, we should be running at 2400 RPM from the looks of things. But just one of those things. It's a bit of a learning curve, completely new plane. With the lights blazing away down there. Nice big old proper airport. I wonder if that is supposed to be the stadium. It looks like actually there's the Space Needle. That's like the only thing that looks proper. I don't know if you guys can see that. Space Needle down there. Football field. Or I guess Seattle has a... well, they've got the Seahawks and I think it's the Mariners, maybe, for their MLB team. Maybe that's their stadium down there. Either way. I do wish it would actually show up as something better than those when we fly over, but in all honesty, I'm more of the person that wants to look and see the mountains and stuff in the distance than look down and see the buildings down on the ground. But you see, we're about halfway through our flight now, almost 85 nautical miles to go. We're showing 28 and a half minutes, 181 knots across the ground. We could go ahead and go on up to 16.5, but with everything's kind of actually settled at the moment. I like where everything is. 12 gallons an hour. We got 17 gallons in both tanks. The manifold pressure's right around a setting it should be on. I tried for the life of me to actually get the prop at exactly 2300, but I was always going under 23, so I'm just going to leave it there. EGT is right in this blue arc. Oil pressure's good. Oil temperature's nice in the green arc as well, and our cylinder head temperature has actually come down out of the danger zone. So I think we'll leave it as is. We'll continue to cruise on through. I think we'll be landing... we should definitely we should definitely beat the sunset, but the sun's going to be getting a little bit lower. We're going to try and stay up nice and high. There's some peaks coming up in front of us. You can see this mountain range we've got off in front of us. Not exactly the best terrain out there. So we're going to go ahead and stay up here, and we will plan our descent. Try and use the speed brakes as well on our way in to give us a little bit more experience with the aircraft. That's kind of what this is for. Also, it is a lovely place to fly around, so I'll just take one last look at Seattle here, a town I really enjoy. Haven't been there in many years, but it's a totally different, probably is a totally different place now as well, but it was a lot of fun. Anyways, we're gonna settle into the cruise once again. Not really a whole lot to see between us and the destination, and some notable mountains and whatnot, but we'll be back ready to start our descent here before too long. Looking at just about 14 minutes out now, 42 nautical miles. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is Mount Olympus. We've got right off the left-hand side, and I just thought I'd kind of point that out. If I am correct, I'm pretty sure that's it right there. Definitely looks like the highest peak in this region. Beautiful area we're going over. We're not going to start our descent just yet. This is kind of what I was talking about with Seattle, though. I would much rather be flying over this, looking around, than trying to look down at some buildings or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. We are going to wait for our descent just a little bit. I want to... I kind of want to test out these speed brakes and just see how they work. So I think we'll probably stay up here for another about 4 minutes or so, and then we'll start down on a bit of a rapid descent and see how effective they are at managing our airspeed, or at least hopefully letting us get away with a little bit of a more extreme vertical speed on the way down. So we'll see how that plays out, but yeah, just kind of wanted to point that out. I was seeing that on the chart when I planned it. I was going to see if I could try and spot it, but I guess that's it. Right down there, like I said, I thought it'd be a little bit more pronounced, but I guess we are about 6,000 feet over the peak of it, or something like that, so probably makes it a little bit more difficult, but anyways, we're going to continue in and be ready for our descent here in just a moment. Just at 9 minutes now from the destination. We're going to start our descent at 8. We're going to set, or I've already got this set to 1,200 feet. Actually, you know what? I just thought about that. Let's go ahead and go 1,300 feet. Field elevation at Forks is 299. We have runway 22 and runway 04. We're going to go and just try and do the straight in, basically, for runway 22 there. Like I said, we're going to test these speed brakes out and see how they get on. And kind of see how they deploy real quick. That's them right there, and yeah, I could see the aircraft kind of take a set back there whenever we did it, and we did lose a little bit of ground speed as well. So hopefully they'll be pretty decent. Either way, we're going to try them out and see what they do. So let's go ahead and arm the altitude mode there, 1,300 feet. We'll pull the power back. And let's go ahead and set that to 1,500 feet a minute now. Bring that mixture up just a little bit. We start our way down. Alright, so 1,500 feet a minute. Looks like we're doing about 160 indicated. We pull this throttle back. And now then, let's go for 1,800 feet a minute. Now let's test these speed brakes out. So there we are, we're kind of established. Here you can see about 156 indicated, about 188 across the ground. Let's go ahead and press those speed brakes. See, they are deployed there. Oh, they really bleed off speed. That's nice. So that was them extended for just a little bit. We went from about 155-ish basically, all the way down to about 130 knots across the ground. It looks like we're about just under 6 minutes out, 17 and a half nautical miles. Like I said, we're gonna shoot for runway 22, which basically means we'll just make a little bit of an adjustment and fly straight in once we get the field in sight. I do not have it in sight at the moment, but we can go ahead and bring our landing lights on and hit the recog lights as well. Overshot the fuel a little bit on the left tank, so that's on 14. We're burning off of the right tank at the moment. We'll keep it on the right side all the way in. If for any reason something happens, there's something weird with the airport, I haven't checked this place out yet or whatever, and we need to go somewhere else, at that point we'll probably switch back to the left. But for now, we can pretty much say we're good on that one. Just keep flying this in, 1,800 feet a minute. We're still in the green, just about 165 knots indicated. That's fine. Doing about 190 across the ground, showing 4 minutes out, 12 nautical miles. Still don't really have anything in sight. I bet it's on the other side of this ridgeline there. We'll see. We're getting a little bit, the sun's getting a little bit lower in the sky. Not quite comfortable enough to be doing a night flight in this thing. I was barely able to just keep the basic engine instrument from being pegged on the red there, so. About to be through 6,000 feet, 8.5 nautical miles now. Feel a lot better if we got this field in sight. I don't know about you guys, I think that's probably it right there. Let's go ahead and take over manual control. First things first, I'm going to disengage a heading mode. I'm going to set this to 220 while it's still managing our descent and all of that. Alright, disengage autopilot, and we'll go ahead and take the flight director off as well. Alright, gear down, we'll do 140 knots, and then once again we'll do the flaps inside the white arc. So we've got them, let's use them. Speed brakes out. That's so nice in this aircraft, that is so nice. That's one of the things I was struggling with the last time we flew it. Just being able to stay on top of the speed of this thing, because it's so slippery, it doesn't really want to lose airspeed until you get it really dirty. But just by doing that, I'm now slow enough I could go ahead and throw like the gear down, which does add drag. That'll help us out a little bit. Alright, I have the runway in sight. Whoa. See the field lights there. Still not a very huge airport, but a decently larger runway than what we had in the last two, so we'll take it for sure. Alright, let's go ahead and come down. Mixture full rich there. We'll bring ourselves in line with the runway for a final. Showing about 3 miles out. Right into that sun. Alright, let's go ahead and get on top of our descent right there. Perfect. Now we can go takeoff flaps. Get into some approach flaps. Kind of want to stabilize this a little bit more. Alright, let's go full flaps. Confirm, flaps full, gear down. A little bit on the high side. Alright, this may be ill-advised, but we're going to try this. Pop these speed brakes for just a second. Short final, just below 80 knots on the approach here. There we go, we are down. Nice and light on the brakes. The sun's just about to peek down behind the ridgeline there. Let's get on the brakes a little bit harder here so we can make this turn. Alright everybody, welcome to Forks. That was a nice flight for the Mooney. I got a couple things I definitely know I need to look into now, which is nice. That's kind of the point of doing these. Figure some stuff out that you got questions about and go on from there. Alright, We are clear of the active, so we'll go ahead and throw, not onto test, we'll throw it onto standby there. Get our flaps up. Go ahead and get our strobe lights off. Go taxi lights on. Landing lights off. Get our pitot heat off as well. This is a really fun plane to fly. I'm definitely gonna have to learn some things whenever it comes to flying it, but for the most part, the basics of it are very rewarding. And like I said, just even like the ground handling feels really nice. The sound's really nice. I'm a big fan. I still wouldn't say it's worth its full price necessarily. Don't get me wrong on that, but for a discounted price, for sure, this thing is it's a ball, really. It is, and the speed, especially now, thinking about the fact that you got speed brakes, it's a little bit easier to manage. It's a little bit more friendly. Definitely a big fan of this thing, and I think it is going to be a lot of fun to continue flying. So I hope you all have enjoyed the flights in it. I hope you want to see some more. I'm probably going to be flying it some more. This aircraft in FSEconomy is actually for sale. I may pick this one up. I'm not entirely sure. I may just look and see if I can find one somewhere else to fly around, not really tie it down to an area necessarily, and just kind of have some adventures with it. And take it out randomly on just random little hops. But yeah, I don't know. I've had a bunch of fun with it so far, so go ahead and come to a stop here. Let's go ahead and get our taxi lights off, our nav light off, and we could throw the transponder off as well, actually. Let's get our FSEconomy client up so we can see here a fuel cost of basically $52, and a rental cost of just about $175. We'll go ahead and hit that parking brake. 175.21, I think is what it said. And like I said, the flight was paying about $1,800 to take the medical supplies from Cashmere here to Forks. It's a fun flight. It's perfect for this kind of airplane, short little hop like that, and overall decently profitable. There's definitely better ways to make money in FSEconomy, but that's not the entire point, in my opinion. It's about enjoying the flights you're doing. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I certainly have, and I hope I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, bye-bye.